Hey there, everybody, and welcome to another jam-packed edition of the OverMark Podcast. It's me, one half of your co-host, TJ, and we've got a wild one lined up for you today. But first, before we get into it, let me introduce the other half of this operation. He could hit the warrior rotation in his sleep. He's responsible for more bed delivery than your favorite OF model, and his eyes are redder than the sun. Ladies and gentlemen, my good friend Dave.
Wow, that's a thank you for the wonderful intro there, teacher.
That's how it's done. You know what I mean? We got to start stepping our introductory game up because everybody else hypes each other up. So like, why can't we?
Makes sense. Well, I'll have to make sure that I hit you back with an equally flattering one next episode.
Sounds good.
Jeez.
All right.
Starting things off awful positive here.
Yeah. So we're going to be talking about Raw from 8/4/25, which was Monday, and Dynamite from 8/6/25, which was yesterday, Wednesday. And we got a little bit of news, and then we're going to talk about WWE Unreal Episode 2. Remember, we said we're going to do that every Thursday, and there's only 5 episodes, so we got 3 more weeks. I know everybody else has already watched all of it, but we're just doing it one at a time. So,
yeah.
Like always, follow us on our social media at OverMark ENT. We got our link tree in the bio, so you want to do any of that stuff, look at where else we're at, we're on it, check it out, we'll be there, we'll respond to you. So, we've had a lot of new people checking out the content lately, Dave. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to see everybody and getting some interactions, positive and negative. You know, we welcome everybody. Any interaction's a good interaction as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, and here's the thing, like, if you disagree with us, you don't even have to insult us about it. You could just tell us why we're wrong, and if we're wrong, we'll take it. And if not, you know, since some stuff's opinion-based, we'll definitely take your opinion as a credible opinion and tell you why we agree or don't agree, and we enjoy the discourse. That's one of the reasons why me and Dave do this, is we agree on a lot of stuff, but we don't agree on everything, but we're always respectful of each other's opinions.
Yeah. It's kind of like food, you know. Some people like pepperoni pizza. Some people like black olives on their pizza. You know, same kind of thing. Some people like the wrestling one way, some people another.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Remember, it's ice cream flavors, brother. But somebody else said that one. But,
that's right, dude.
But we can't talk about him, dude. So we're going to move on. And I'll take us through the quick results on Raw if you want to do Dynamite.
All right, that sounds good.
And we're going to do a usual format where when we run down the results of it, we're just going to do, if it's something we really didn't really care about, we would just go for the one-word response or one sentence. But if we want to talk a little bit more about it, we're free to. But there's still quick results, more all the same, right?
Yeah, so, I mean, everybody doesn't need a move-by-move breakdown of everything that happened. If you want that, there's other shows that do that, or you can read about it on your wrestling news website du jour.
Or the show's on, you could watch it on your TV, you know?
Yeah, that's true. It's on Netflix, and I assume most of us have that.
Yeah, this show's more or less what we thought about it. Or just if you just want somebody to break it down for you real quick, we're your guys. So we got WWE Raw on 8/4/25, which, like we said before, was Monday. They had an attendance, which tickets distributed, of 11,125. It's pretty impressive. Current setup of 11,884. So they had about 700, 600-ish left. I'm sure they had a lot of walk-ins, so good chance they had almost all of those filled. It says available 759. So the Barclays Center, Brooklyn, New York. Each of you reacts to a segment, which we're about to do. We described that. So we got Sheamus versus Rusev. Went into a DCO. Double count out.
That's a double count out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Don't need to see these guys anymore.
Nope. Unsure why we got them for the 3rd week in a row, but here we are.
Yep. Penta defeats Grayson Waller. Okay enough match, but Penta doesn't need to get lost in the shuffle. I'm not sure what's up with Grayson Waller.
Yeah, I'm glad to see Penta on TV every week being featured. They always are putting him in a position where at least he doesn't look good, even if whatever he's involved in isn't great.
And then we got the Queen, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, who are the champions now, and they defeated the Judgment Days, Roxanne Perez, and Raquel Rodriguez to retain the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship. They got that one out of the way quick, huh?
Yeah.
Rematch clause.
You know what? Yeah. I like, obviously, everybody knows I like the Judgment Day. I don't hate the team of Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss. I'm coming around to it a little bit. It's not the worst thing on TV now.
They've gotten over. It's not like there's a lot of options when it comes to female tag team wrestling that's actually good, or at least over. So seems like people have kind of gravitated towards these females since they realized that these titles aren't going anywhere.
Yeah.
WWE Intercontinental Champion Dirty Dom Mysterio defeats Dragon Lee in a non-title match. I don't know. I wish they kind of had a little bit more for Dom instead of this, but I'm sure it's going to lead somewhere.
I didn't mind seeing him work with Dragon Lee.
I'm not saying the match is bad, but Dom's the man. It'd be cool to see him, like, he was in a lot of high-profile shit, excuse my language, the past couple weeks. And, sorry, not weeks. What? I completely lost train of thought. He's been in some pretty high-profile things the past couple years. With Rhea, He's always involved with the women's champion. He's always involved in the love triangle. So, not to say that they're not going to have anything for him, but this is probably going to lead to, like, some other luchador guy. They were talking about making him the champion.
Well, he's going to be wrestling down in AAA, I think for the title, the AAA title here in a couple of weeks or something like that. I'll have to look into that, but yeah.
All right. So, anyways, we'll move on. We got Seth Rollins defeating LA Knight via DQ in a World Heavyweight Championship match. Predictable.
Underwhelming?
You weren't into it?
No, not particularly. I mean, it was all right.
All right. Well, I'd say that my high point... Go ahead.
That's the wrong match. I'm such an idiot. For whatever reason, I was thinking of something else entirely. I enjoyed this. I'm sorry.
I was confused.
Spaced.
Yeah. I was just saying it's predictable. You know what I mean? LA Knight's not going to win.
No.
And the way they did it was pretty predictable as well. So, I mean, it's what you're going to do. But overall, LA Knight on TV is always good. And Seth Rollins is the man. But it'd be cool to see LA Knight, I don't know the right way to put this, but get his comeuppance a whole lot. And then, because you remember, Stone Cold wasn't getting outsmarted every week. And I'm not saying this guy's Stone Cold. And they've done a good job protecting LA Knight, but I'd like to see him bumped up to, like, they got room for another top face. Like, it's literally Cody as just a pure white meat baby face, and there's room for another one in there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Stone Cold and The Rock were baby faces at the same time. Not every time, but, a lot.
Yeah. But anyways, my high point of the night was the Becky Lynch, Nikki Bella program. I thought it was pretty good. Both girls really handled themselves well on the mic, and it's refreshing to see the girls given a chance to do a long promo.
Yeah, Nikki Bella surprised me there. She did better than what I had expected for sure. My high point was the Rollins promo at the beginning of the show, and we got to learn that I believe the faction is going to be called The Vision.
That's correct. That is it.
Yeah, so not a terrible name. I don't hate it. There's definitely been worse names for factions, and it makes sense. It's fitting.
Yep. I apologize for my
What was your low point?
The way.
Oh, no, you're good. Nobody hears it.
Okay, cool. So my low point was Sheamus versus Rusev 3, the match. I didn't mind as much them running around throughout the episode. I thought it was somewhat funny, but it's just, I don't know. I don't know anybody that's feeling this.
No. Mine was basically the same low point, but I put for the entire episode because it was like, I thought we're just going to see it for this one match and then it'll be done with. But no, every time there's a backstage something, here these dudes come fighting on through. 2-hour show.
Correct.
Hell out of here.
2.5. But with ads, I guess you could say it's 2. Maybe a little less.
Yeah.
I gave it a 4.
How are they not tired? I could, if I fight for like 5 minutes, I'm dead.
Well, it's because it's a part of the show, brother. But yeah, I give it a 4.
I gave it a 5. It was, average.
I don't know. It's one of those shows where they don't do the thing where they hook you all episode with the story that's the overarching theme. That's when Raw's at its best, and they weren't capable of doing that this episode, or just didn't do it. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. more than fair. That they there was just nothing that really, you know, the handful of promos and everything else just kind of felt like a paint by numbers, or just like you would call this a filler episode if you were just watching like a regular episodic television show.
I think we just got a notification noise in there. That's funny, but I apologize. But anyways, it's kind of sad because it's like the SummerSlam post show, so you think it would be like have a lot of really awesome stuff that was going to happen in it, but I feel like that's not the case. And it's your turn now, bud. You get to.
Oh boy, we get to talk about my favorite and yours, AEW Dynamite from August 6th, 2025. They had looks like attendance of 2,667, and they were set up for 3,246 with 579 available tickets. They probably filled that, or mostly, or paid people to fill that. Who knows? They got the Wolstein Center at CSU, Cleveland, Ohio. Man, Ohio. I'm sorry if I have any fans in Ohio, or if TJ has any fans in Ohio, or if we as a collective have fans in Ohio, but that place is not for me. I have family in Dayton, Ohio. Whew, not for me. But anyway,
here's a positive.
That's it.
They doubled their attendance from Dynamite last week, dude.
That's true. But they were still in Chicago last week, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying though, they doubled their attendance.
That is true, technically. Well, you know, we general usual quick match results rules here apply, so we're gonna dive right into it. We got Jon Moxley defeating Mike Bailey in a match that I don't need to see. Not for me. What about you, TJ?
I was actually surprised. I didn't hate this match as much as I thought I was going to. And that Mike Bailey guy actually put on some okay offense. But overall, it went on way too long. Mike Bailey hasn't really been positioned on the show as a guy that should be competing with your world champion in an 18-minute match. And it doesn't bring him up. It just brings Moxley down. That's like the overarching theme, I feel like, of a lot of the way that they've tried to get people over on the show. And it doesn't necessarily work. I'm not saying that the match wasn't good. I'm just saying it's like Moxley, 10 minutes max, and Moxley gets most of the offense. You give this guy 2 minutes, a minute probably really should be the max, and you just highlight Moxley's back. He's tough, but what's he going to do, have a fall from grace here? I mean, we'll see what they're going for, but this wasn't it. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, that's good. You know, so sticking to this match for a second, I know we try to get through this quickly, but you know how people these days, whenever they're trying to add something that they're tired of, they're like, you know, blank fatigue, like, you know, whatever fatigue, you know, like pizza fatigue, or, you know, I'm going to use the term Jon Moxley fatigue. And I think I might be the first person to coin that, but I feel like that's what I'm experiencing, because now basically anytime that I see him on TV, if I'm not able to watch it on fast forward, I kind of just glaze over.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Moxley's definitely been very overexposed, and I don't want to insult anybody because I'm sure he's a great guy, and I'm sure his fans are
definitely
awesome. But you know, he's leaves a little bit to be desired for me, and for a top level guy, I feel like he's probably the most pushed for the level of talent that he brings to the table, if I could put it nicely.
Yeah.
Keep on rolling.
I would put it as Jon Moxley fatigue. But anyway, Alex Windsor defeated Queen Aminata and Sky Blue and Billy Starks. She beat them all, folks. Match was all right. You know, not the greatest. Nice to see Sky Blue out there doing her thing.
This was a decent little match. It's funny. Who's Alex Windsor? She's barely been around. Is this like the nepotism in the form of Will? Because this is Will Ospreay's lady. I don't know if you knew that or not.
Oh, wow.
And,
no, I didn't.
Yeah, and it's just like, I wonder why she's winning. Strange, huh? Because some of these other girls have been around a while.
That's kind of what they did with some of the other gals that were pals of Kenny.
Yeah.
Allegedly, back in the early days of AEW.
Riho.
Yeah.
Riho also on to the next one.
Well, we got Brodito defeating the Young Bucks in a match of I don't want to see any of these guys.
I don't know. It's I don't know what they're gonna have. I'm not minding the Young Buck stuff right now. It's more direction than most people have on the show, and they're advancing a storyline that they have been doing for a while. I'll give them props there, and they're not doing that bad at it. But I'm not crazy about Brody King, and Bandito's just some guy in a mask to me, and it's just a whole lot of reason to not care here.
Young Bucks fatigue, and you heard it here first. That's my new thing. Just everything fatigue. Yeah. Well, and we'll move on to that. I forgot that I was the one doing this for a second there. We got MJF defeating Mark Briscoe. I like this. I like both of these guys.
Awesome. MJF carried the show on his back. He had multiple segments during the show. He's all over the place doing stuff, and just give me more. I know MJF's not going to beat Adam Page for the belt, but you might as well. MJF's the man.
Well, it's like you said earlier. You want the A story to drive the show, and they did a good job of him being the A story and him driving the show this week. So yeah, it was good.
Did you get the ratings in this?
I did not know.
711.
Wow, they're up.
Yeah.
It's what happens when you open with MJF and you have him on the show consistently throughout the 2 hours that you're on there.
You know what else wasn't on it?
What's that?
A Hangman Adam Page match.
That's true.
I mean, just something I noticed. You know, not trying to be too much of an arsehole there, but
And they opened with a Jon Moxley match, and they didn't really lose
Jon
a whole
Moxley
lot of people
is
based on
from WWE, and he was one of the Shield guys. I feel like he is probably more of a draw than most people are on the show still at this point. But
built-in audience, yeah.
Go on ahead.
Him coming back to WWE someday will probably make a lot of money.
Yeah, I agree. Shield reunion.
Yeah. But anyway, we'll have the highlights and lowlights, or high points and low points, I mean. Whoops. Mine was the MJF versus Mark Briscoe match, like I had kind of alluded to earlier. The guys that I like the most in AEW together. What's to dislike here?
Same thing here, and I pretty much about to repeat what I just said, but MJF the entire show. He carried the entertainment aspect of the show, and Mark Briscoe was great as well. We've been singing Mark Briscoe's praises since day one of this podcast.
Yep. Entertaining guy, unique fella. His presentation is great.
Yep. Different.
Hard to hate him. Well, the low point for me was old Jon Moxley with Wheeler Yuta and Marina Shafir versus Speedball and Kevin Knight. I put expletives here in the notes, but I'm going to try to not swear, be a good boy. But I mean, geez, I'm kind of tired of seeing these people. And TJ and I have been kind of saying this for a bit. After Hangman beat him at the pay-per-view, these guys should have been gone for a month. Like, maybe we should have been seeing them again like a week from now, 2 weeks from now, and then they could start being around again. But they just, every episode with their goofy things and shenanigans, trying to not cuss again.
What does a master villain do when he is foiled?
Kind of goes away and hatches a new plan.
Exactly. And that's what he should have going on, but that's long gone now. No point in talking about it. My low point was 8 belts Mercedes Moné making her arrival. Junk.
Why does she have 8 belts now?
She did a promo, and like she comes out of the limousine eating watermelon, and then she takes the watermelon and throws it in the back. I thought that was a kind of a weird choice for I think obvious reasons. Strange. Yeah, but it's just only missing a specific type of drink, I guess, to complete the illusion here.
I don't know about that. Anyway,
it's all good. But so from that point, I gave it a 5.
I gave it a 4, just because there were people on this show that I like less than people on the other show. In reality, they're probably both about equal, either 4 or 5. It just average episode of either show. Most of the shit was filler. other than the MJF stuff being really good, but he can't really be the only thing on the show that I want to see him and Briscoe.
He keeps getting better and better over time, man.
Yep.
It's nuts.
He's going to be making so much money if he stays healthy. I mean, the next 10 to 15 years.
I agree completely.
Yeah. Future Hall of Famer, probably.
100%. I think that being said, though, we're going to have some news. That's maybe something that we want to jump into. Where'd that come from?
And I got news for you.
Oh, iced tea, huh? All right, so I think I'm going to jump us into this one here. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, and then we're going to watch it. So Paul Heyman was talking about Hulk Hogan, and he shared a never-before-heard story from Hulk Hogan. So we've actually had another one of these that we talked about earlier in the week with RVD, and I think we're just going to jump right into it. Does that sound good, Dave?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, so let me pull this up real quick, and so you ready?
Yep.
All right, let's do it.
Minutes from the airport. I pull up, a limousine pulls up behind me. I get out of the car, Hulk Hogan gets out of the limousine. Brother, how you doing, brother? Hey, man, since you've been a photographer, hey, you broke in, you're doing it right, you're doing it great. Talk to me for a minute, brother. So we get into his limo, and the first thing he says is, he goes, how long's your contract for? I'm a big fan of your work.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there, and this is 1988 Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
This is Hulkamania when it's Hulkamania.
That's true.
Okay? This is the absolute biggest star in the entire business, and a mainstream celebrity. And he's a fan of mine. I'm not even getting a chance to say, thank you for the house. Thank you for paving the road. My God, what you've done for this business, we will all benefit for generations to come. I'm not even getting these words out of my mouth. All he's doing is, brother, I'm only as good as the opponents they bring me. I always need opponents, and you can talk for my opponents. And there's only so many times I can bounce around Bobby Heenan, only so many times I can throw Jimmy Hart over the top rope. We got to get you in here. And I'm like, thank you. It's humbling because
that's awesome.
I don't even get a chance, and as soon as he's done saying this, all right, brother, see you on the check-in line, and gets out of the limo. He didn't even wait for me to say anything to him. Never fished for a compliment, never waited for me to go, thank you, sir, and by the way. He finished his spiel and got out. And from what I understand with other people, he was gracious with them like that too. So
that's what I always heard.
My experiences with him were all pretty positive.
You met him.
Then again, I was never in backstage politics opposed to him.
Right.
And I don't know what that was like, so I can't speak to it. But I can tell you, as far as my personal interactions with him, he was always a gentleman with me.
All right. So, good shit, good stuff from Paul there.
Yeah, and that was a great way to describe Hogan. And anybody that has ever actually been around him, other than maybe people that had to politic against him, would probably say the same thing.
It's just business, brother.
Positive experience. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, obviously I can't speak from it personally myself. I've never met him like you have. But I've heard countless story after countless story of him helping people, letting people borrow money, giving people money, getting people positions on the shows. And I've heard other stories too. But
yeah. And I mean, I was only around him a few times. It's not like I was great friends with him or something.
You met him.
It was always positive. Yeah. One time for a little bit of time to help him with his internet stuff. But yeah,
and the Paul's brother.
Yeah, that's right. He was. I'll tell that story real quick. So we get there, and he's tanning, and he's got his palms up, and we're like, hey Hogan, how's it going? We're here to take a look at your internet, and he's like, you got to tan with your palms up, dude, so that you get a complete tan. So he always made sure to tan with his palms up, and, so he'd get his underarms and his palms and all that stuff. Hilarious.
Yeah, it's funny because, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Paul used to take pictures and everything. Just the same as Jim. He was taking pictures back in the day. So that was some of the stuff they did, but that was like real early on. And then, he transitioned into doing a whole bunch of different backstage positions back in the day. I'm not a Paul expert by any means, but he's been working in this stuff forever, pretty much, and he knows everybody. So for Hulk Hogan to come up to you in the 80s, like especially 88, like you said, in the middle of like the peak of Hulkster's run.
That's prime Hulkamania, yeah.
Yeah, and to tell you, like, hey, dude, and like you got in the limo and sat there and got to talk to him. Like, if that happened to me, I'd have been crapping my pants. That's literally like the most popular guy on the planet at that, or not maybe the most popular, but he's in like the top 5 at that point, I feel like.
One of, and then he's marking out to your work.
Yeah. Am I remembering that right?
Really
By the
cool.
way, he did take pictures when he was younger, right? For magazines? Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. I hope I wasn't mixing that up. But you know how that time just makes that stuff fly out of there, man.
Oh yeah.
But
it's like on the episode of Married with Children, when every time that Kelly Bundy learns a new fact, it pushes an old fact out of her brain, and eventually they load her brain with all these questions to win a talk show. So, and then the winning question ends up being who in high school football scored 4 touchdowns in one game. I'm paraphrasing because that's not exactly how it was worded. And of course, the answer everybody knows is Al Bundy, but she forgot that fact when she learned all the other facts.
Oh, I bet you she heard that real early on because that's all Al talked about. So that was an early one that got pushed out.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff. But yeah, Heyman's a man. We appreciate the story. And just another little thing that we wanted to do to talk about the Hulkster a little bit because if we get a chance to, we're going to be talking about him. So
yeah, any kind of positive Hogan stuff that we can put out there,
Absolutely.
Always glad to talk about him, even if there's yeah. But anyway, we got another news topic here. You want me to jump into this one, or do you want to?
Let me do this one since pretty much the last one Paul took care of for us. So
yeah, thanks, Paul.
Yeah, no problem. So this is the WWE PLEs, right? Yeah. So we got
This is the Heyman Brock Lesnar stuff.
Okay, so
a little bit more Heyman stuff.
Paul Heyman responds to Brock Lesnar backlash. Lesnar shocked the crowd in MetLife Stadium, showing up right after Cody Rhodes versus John Cena street fight. He got a massive pop from the crowd as he hit an F5 on Cena. Kind of reminiscent. I forget which event it was, but happened back in the day. It was literally almost identical.
I think it might have been at SummerSlam, actually.
Okay, so the return sparked backlash online due to Lesnar being named in the 2024 Janelle Grant lawsuit involving Vince and WWE. So Heyman said, "Get over it. You ain't going to cancel him. And as long as that company doesn't want him to, that's pretty much how it's going to work. Because if you want to get your WWE, you got to go through these guys." So Heyman says that he wasn't involved in the deal until after it was finalized and claims that it happened fast within a couple weeks. Dismisses online criticism, saying that the live audience reaction is what matters. I call bullshit. Heyman was involved in the whole thing. That audience was jacked to see Brock Lesnar. People were just going effing nuts, comparing critics to history. Heyman launches into a rant about how everyone gets criticized, from religious figures to presidents, points out nobody has a 100% approval rating, and that top-level success always comes with mistakes or skeletons in the closet. Yeah, you'd be remiss to find someone in your life that hasn't messed up majorly a couple times, if not a lot of times.
Nobody's perfect. I'm not religious, but like Scott Hall used to say, the last person that was perfect, they nailed to the cross. So, all you believers out there, that's a pretty good one.
Well,
anyway.
I'll do a little spoiler here, and where I'm at with Brock is innocent until proven guilty, and he hasn't been proven guilty yet. So, if he is, cool, get rid of him. I have no problem with it. And anybody that had any problems with him, I'll 100% back you up. But until that happens,
he can F right off if he's guilty. Yeah. That's right.
But until that happens, I just simply can't in good conscience judge somebody because I wouldn't want to be judged in that same manner myself. So it's just about respect to how would you want to be treated with respect. And I'm sure that he feels the same way. And again, if he does happen to be found, not good in this light, will 100% back anybody that wants to talk negatively about him. So Heyman says that WWE made the call to bring Brock back, and it worked because the crowd loved it. Final word from Heyman is that if we brought him back and the audience rebelled against it, I wouldn't be happy, but it works, so I'm happy. Again, I just kind of gave you everything I needed to say about it for the most part. Brock's a human being. Human beings make mistakes. We don't know if the mistake is actually something that he should be. We don't know the results of any of this stuff yet. It will come out in the future. And when that happens, we will judge him then. Until that moment.
And we'll let you know about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have a nice big old segment about it.
Yeah. Until that moment happens, though, I can't in good conscience say anything negative about him yet.
Yeah. We could use a little bit more innocent until proven guilty in the world, I think, these days.
Yeah, I agree. Got anything to add or want to move on?
Nah, we can go ahead and move on here. We got another news topic. We actually have a lot of news topics today. So in case you were all thinking that we're almost done, nope. We got WWE PLEs leaving Peacock for ESPN. And before I jump into this, I'm not super hyped about this. And I think the general consensus has been that most people in the United States are not, that are fans of WWE. WWE is officially ending its run on Peacock. All U.S. premium live events will now air on ESPN's new to direct consumer streaming service platform in 2026. That was a mouthful to get out. Good God. This means a huge shift in how American fans will access WWE's biggest shows. There'll be a new price point of $29.99 a month. So, that's a considerable jump from the $9.99 a month that we were paying for Peacock now. ESPN's DTC service, well, obviously, like I just said, $29.99 a month. But if you already get ESPN through a provider like DirecTV, you get the DTC service for free through the ESPN app.
So I don't know if you've seen, it's not all cable. It's like only DirecTV and like Spectrum and I think Hulu Live, YouTube Live, and maybe one other one. And if you have any other cable provider, you're not getting this.
Nope.
Sorry, go ahead.
So that's good information for folks out there. Obviously, it's a win for cable holdouts, but it's a major price bump for former Peacock subs who were paying $5 to $10 a month.
No library, brother.
It's a significant increase, yeah, in the library. Well, WrestleMania 2031 becomes a negotiation chip. The deal runs through early 2031, right after WrestleMania 2031, WWE giving WWE perfect leverage point for its next media rights play. Smart timing from TKO to keep a major event in hand for future deals. The archives are in limbo. Google and YouTube partnership rumored. No word yet on whether the WWE Network archive content will transfer to ESPN. Fightful reports that the WWE Vault content may be spotlighted more on YouTube, suggesting a new Google deal could be in play. Fans looking for classic pay-per-views, documentaries, and older shows might be out of luck, though, at least for now. International streaming is going to be unchanged. Outside of the U.S., WWE content will remain on Netflix, including PLEs and weekly TV. The ESPN deal only affects domestic streaming in the U.S., so we're just taking it here as Americans. I wish we could get the everything on Netflix deal like everyone else has got. That'd be fantastic. The TKO stock price actually dropped 2.69% after the announcement, likely due to concerns over pricing backlash and uncertain archive handling, but who knows for sure. ESPN strategy shift, sports mega bundle incoming. This isn't just about WWE. They're folding in the NFL Network, Red Zone, and more into their new streaming offering.
They've already bought all that stuff.
Yeah, it's a full-on cable replacement strategy from ESPN, and WWE is part of the launch push. I'm not crazy about this. I know I said it at the beginning, and I just wish that we could get something akin to the WWE Network. That was the best version of the online streaming stuff that we had. The streams were always good because it was run off of the same infrastructure as the MLB network streaming infrastructure, so of course it was going to always be great. But it is what it is. the WWE network walked so these other streaming deals could run, I guess.
So I think.
What do you think of all this?
So this was literally for like 1.6 billion. It's for like I think 145 million a year or something for 5 years. It's like a pretty large amount of money, and it's I think like almost 100% rights increase over their last deal, or very close to that. But this is an overall lose-lose for wrestling fans, unless this wrestling fan just so happens to like ESPN content. You're losing any kind of archive footage, like we said. It's going up $20, and the only way that I could see this being something that people would really want to pay for, that they could get their value out of, is if they took the UFC pay-per-views, because they're in their negotiation year. The UFC's out of their exclusive negotiation rights deal with ESPN, so they're negotiating with other parties now, and I think that UFC's going to end up splitting their content up. So this may or may not happen, but it is a good sign that since TKO does own Zuffa and therefore they own the UFC, that maybe since they're under the same umbrella with the other people that they just got that from TKO with WWE, that maybe hopefully they're going to get UFC on there too. That is the only way that I could see this being worth the value, because pay-per-view is a dying model, so maybe they're finally going to make the switch. But even then, that doesn't mean that the WWE fan likes UFC content. So in the end, this is like a lose-lose for the wrestling fan, because you're getting charged, and it's only here in the US, like you're saying. Like literally pretty much everybody's going to have to just start VPN Netflix, like in Canada or some other foreign market. That way you can just get every single piece of WWE content on Netflix, because that's how it is overseas, or even it's still in North America right above us. It's just
crazy.
They're just taking full advantage, and they're monetizing the US fan base even more and more. And it's not just the WWE and ESPN that are doing this, but it's just, how can you justify taking ESPN Plus, a pretty crappy streaming service, and putting just a little bit more of your ESPN content on it, and then charging triple the amount of what it's worth now, and then expecting more?
Well, you may be onto something with them working out a UFC deal. They may have already had conversations like that, because I read an article, and I'm paraphrasing here, but I believe that Nick Khan had said that the ESPN deal wasn't even the highest dollar deal on the table.
Yeah.
Which is a weird thing to say in an interview.
They took it for reach,
knowing that shareholders are going to see that, but also leads me to believe that there may be some credence to the UFC talk, because why would you take a lower dollar deal unless it meant that you were going to get an additional deal that was a little bit more sweetheart and favorable for the other thing? I don't know. Maybe we're just guessing here, but why else would you take a lesser dollar deal knowing that you have to answer to shareholders? There has to be a reason, long term.
I agree. We're going to know pretty soon, I feel like. Next couple weeks. Yep. If this really is happening, they're going to have a blow-off event. They're going to have like a big press event. They're going to get really big about this, because if the UFC does let go of pay-per-view model, it's a big deal, because they've been the leader in pay-per-view for the past 20-some years now. But I guess that's probably about all that we can cover in that one right there. And
good luck to us all.
Yeah, pretty much. So we're moving on to Peacock eyeing the TNA wrestling after the WWE exit. So with WWE's premium live events moving to ESPN in 2026, Peacock's looking for a new wrestling anchor. They're looking for a replacement for their wrestling content. So media exec Bobby Axelrod, man, that's a pretty interesting last name.
Is that his real name?
Yeah, says that Peacock is the front runner to land TNA's U.S. media rights. And here's the deal. This is going to cost like $10 million a year. That's substantially less than what they're getting for just PLEs. They're going to get all TNA content, I'd imagine, in this Peacock deal. So they're going to get way more content that if they help build, they could nurture into being something pretty healthy. So WWE, TKO are back in TNA's negotiations it's another sign of their ongoing partnership and a crossover strategy. And WWA plus TNA crossovers continue all the time. So we get a Peacock TNA deal would keep the wrestling content alive on Peacock while maintaining a WWE TNA synergy. So they could technically still, have how they're having the NXT guys show up on TNA. They could still have some TNA and WWE stars occasionally show up on Peacock programming. So both companies, are already collaborating on ways that they can do that, apparently. So we got more than just TNA. AAA are in the mix. Peacock is also exploring a potential deal with Lucha Libre and AAA. WWE currently owns 51% of that company, that being AAA, making this another possible extension of the WWE, TNA, AAA shared ecosystem. That's too many three-letter things there. So the big picture is Peacock replacing WWE with TNA and AAA combo, keeping a pro wrestling presence on the platform, and the move could also strengthen WWE's control over multiple promotions without actually airing their own PLEs on Peacock. So, it seems pretty likely. I've heard this from a couple different reputable people. Not myself. I've read.
This would be a good deal.
I've read a report from multiple different people saying this stuff, but this will be really good. $10 million for TNA, that's way more than they're getting now, which I assume is not a lot. Don't really know off the top of my head. I'm not sure that's even out there right now because they're a privately traded company. So the only reason the $10 million thing has got out is because the people that are commenting on it.
That's what he said.
Yeah, correct. Bobby Axelrod. But anyways, I hope so. It would be nice. I feel like they could get... TNA's putting out a pretty good product right now. I'm not watching it. This is just me repeating what I've read. But a lot of people are enjoying it.
I catch the highlights, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. But overall, more wrestling's better for the ecosystem and better jobs, better pay, all that stuff for everybody. So let's hope that happens. Got anything to add?
Well, we do have the Hardys versus the Dudleys coming up here in October on TNA.
That's true.
I will make sure to watch that. We'll probably, even if we
that.
don't cover that whole card, we'll cover that match.
Well, awesome. I'm looking forward to that. I know something that you might be looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. Some more news here.
Yeah, talking about this next segment, brother. It's MVP drawing some locker room heat, dude.
Well, multiple sources are saying that MVP has developed a significant backstage heat in recent months. Complaints center on the Hurt Syndicate's booking and MVP's influence over creative direction. They say that there was refusal to lose to FTR. AEW had pitched FTR beating the Hurt Syndicate at All In and Forbidden Door as part of a redemption arc. MVP allegedly rejected both ideas, pushing instead to elevate younger teams, naming Gates of Agony, Outrunners, and Private Party. I agree with the Private Party one there. Maybe the Outrunners. I don't know. I'm starting to warm up to them. Anyway, frustrations grew since the Hurt Syndicate has already beaten those teams. We got an inconsistent presentation here. The group is booked as heels, but often acts as babyfaces, giving the fans high fives post matches and doing general things that babyfaces would do. Both wrestling programs have a problem with their heels trying to do babyface stuff. Seth Rollins is a good example of that sometimes too. Anyway, this inconsistent character work is reportedly causing more friction with creative. I assume that means Tony Khan or other people, who knows. Tension with Speedball Mike Bailey and an on-camera squash of the alleged beef. MVP allegedly dislikes Bailey and opposed the Hurt Syndicate dropping the tag titles to Jet Speed. A report claimed MVP's stance didn't sit well with others, but we've got an update following the online rumors. MVP posted a Instagram video backstage at Dynamite where Bailey was vlogging. They traded FUs on camera, with Lashley and Benjamin hesitantly joining in. This was presented as like playful banter, suggesting that the beef was squashed publicly. There's no heat with Lashley, Benjamin, or MJF. Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin are not believed to be involved in the drama. The Hurt Syndicate's planned program with MJF was cut short, but no animosity is there between them. The big picture is AEW's locker room is still generally described as positive, but MVP's creative input has become a persistent source of tension. One source says the situation isn't expected to be resolved anytime soon. I've got to think that this is more of them trying to get MVP and Syndicate to do some goofy bullshit, and them being sorry, I swore it, them being reluctant to do goofy BS, and devalue themselves or their characters. But that's just me, and that's just speculation. I don't know. What do you think, TJ?
I think that little Instagram video that they did was them. I don't think it's necessarily them squashing it. I think that's them showing that maybe it's a work, brother.
Yeah,
it's a work.
Could be that too.
Yeah, but either way, maybe there is a little bit of where there's smoke, there's fire, and maybe they didn't want to lose to somebody a certain way, and then offer their own opinion. But I'm sure in the end, they did whatever Tony Khan wanted to do. He's the boss.
He signs the checks.
Yeah, so and they're all professionals. So I can guarantee you that if Tony says, no, this is what I want, they're doing it. May they be opinionated and may they be thrown out, I'd like to do this. I'm sure they are, but they're not the only person in the company's doing that, I can promise you. So what they're doing isn't exclusive to just them, and I'm sure any of the people that are over in that company or former big WWE talents act the exact same way. And maybe if this did get leaked to people, they're probably just jealous of them. I mean, that's all I could guess, right?
It's a recurring theme back there sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. There's only one spot, and you want it, but they got it.
People don't like when other folks are bigger stars than they are, and sometimes they can't accept that.
That's correct. Well, I think we covered that one pretty good. Got anything to add?
Yeah. Nah, thanks MVP. Keep doing things that make sense. You got a lot of support here.
Yeah. And Mike Bailey is kind of a goof.
Yeah.
He's not my cup of tea, but he's not the worst in the world. And anybody that likes him, keep doing your thing. I'm glad you got a guy that you're behind. But we'll see how that goes. And
you know what wrestler is cooler than him before we move on?
Who?
Glacier.
Yeah. I guess he definitely is. He's probably the coolest wrestler out there. But
sorry, that was bad. I'll shut up.
Let's move on to a wrestler that's cooler than Glacier, and that's Bret Hart reflecting on some WCW frustrations. It seems like anytime we hear anything from Bret these days, he's just complaining. So I don't think this is going to be any.
Come on.
I don't think this is going to be anything any different. Hey, this belt signed. It's got Bret's signature. You can't actually see it right here. I'd have to go up a little bit, but we're all big Bret fans here. So Bret Hart says that his lack of success in WCW, 97 to 2000, was due to Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff holding him back. So we got another Hogan video for you guys here, and maybe this one will
Everybody loves Hogan.
Maybe this one will be structured in a way that some other people would appreciate, dude. So on his relationship with Hogan, he says that he was friends with him for years and even helped make him early in his career when Hogan only knew a bear hug. I don't know about that. I'm sure Hogan was limited in. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was gonna say that sounds like something Bret would say.
I'm sure he taught him some moves, but he didn't make Hogan. I can promise you, Hogan could have gotten over with a bear hug. So he worked with him in Japan and on WWF undercards. Respected his decade-long run on top from '84 to '94. So he said on Hogan becoming a roadblock to him, he claims that Hogan made sure WCW did nothing with him. And he quotes, "Don't do anything with him. Just leave him. Let him sit on the bench in the dressing room." Says WCW would fly him first class, give him a hotel room and rental car, only to tell him he was off the show and they sent him home. He says
that definitely would happen.
Well, it was happening to a lot of people, not just him. So on WCW management, they called WCW a stupid bunch of idiots. Bret did. And then he referred to Eric Bischoff as an absolute moron and says that WCW was the dumbest idiots he ever worked with.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
That's all very on brand for Bret. Man, I love him.
Yeah. Bret's the man. He's a pretty funny guy. He's always complaining about everything, but I can tell you one thing: he definitely didn't make Hogan, and I'm sure that there was some backstage politicking. Hogan's known for that. I'm sure Bret maybe had a little bit of his own back in the day, but not to the extent to Hogan. Hogan's probably the ultimate guy to do that, but what can you say? I'm sure that Bret was happy with the money he made. It would probably be annoying being called to work to just sit there. But in the end, what are you going to do? Be like, man, this millions of dollars and this trip to this awesome place for free stinks.
Yeah, darn. I mean, also he was going through a tough time then, after the screw job and the passing of Owen. So I imagine he might not have necessarily been in the greatest headspace creatively to, do the thing at the level that he had done previously, just based off of some of the traumatic experiences that he had in very recent times to then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We're both huge fans of Bret, and it's just kind of funny.
Much love, Hitman.
Yeah, he has nothing nice to say about anybody these days. He even talked crap about Gunther recently, saying that he doesn't like his chops, and he says anybody that hurts somebody on purpose is somebody that he doesn't like. He even said that he told Gunther to his face that it's bull crap. He thinks it's bull crap.
Speaking of Gunther, he was on Undertaker's podcast today. I watched some of it, and basically the Undertaker blew him the whole time.
Yeah, I bet, because he's the man. He's awesome.
Yep. He kept telling him, that he's his favorite guy right now. He could have worked in his era or any era. He talked about, obviously, if he would have loved to have been to work with him. He wishes that he would have came around like 10 years sooner.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the case with a lot of guys. I mean, AJ's the definition of that, I mean,
yeah.
What you gonna do, brother?
Well, at least you got to have that last match with AJ. AJ's getting up there too, He's still doing it at a high level, though.
Yeah, he is. And I'm sure Gunther will be for a while. And I guess we can go ahead and move on. It's just thanks, Bret, for the classy comments as always. And we'll go ahead and start talking about WWE Unreal Episode 2. So,
oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're going to tell you guys what we thought about it a little bit here. Dave, why don't you go ahead first?
Well, I enjoyed this episode. And before we dive too far into this, a lot of people are like, oh, did you see this episode yet? Did you see this episode? This happened. And TJ and I are taking this one episode at a time, watching it one episode a week. We're not, just same thing we're doing with our King of the Hill review. We're not trying to binge them. We want to take our time with them and consume them, and like kind of how you would back in the day. You didn't get to watch every episode of every season instantly like you can now with these streaming services. So we're keeping it one a week so that we can be like, oh, okay, cool, we're looking forward to that next episode. Maybe it's stupid, I don't know. I kind of like it. I think there's something to the whole waiting to watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now that I've tried that.
Well, that's how we grew up watching shows. They all just didn't show up at once.
Right, exactly. So there was a lot of different things on this episode, but I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I really enjoyed them highlighting the winged eagle
Cody
title.
Bringing it out.
That they had the storyline with Cody and Kevin Owens there for a while, and I just, obviously we enjoy the winged belt, as is evidenced by TJ's wall there. Just cool to see, and Cody Rhodes describes it as the winged belt is basically held with the same reverence as like an actual WWE legend. So that's really cool. And then obviously them telling the story of Dusty falling on hard times and having to sell that Rolex, and them finding it and giving it to Cody as a gift, as good storytelling that is also real. So I enjoyed that stuff. The stuff that's real is cool. Yeah, good episode beyond that too. What about you, TJ?
I enjoyed it.
Spots that really stand out to you?
I don't know. I thought it was cool when he gave him the Rolex, and Cody got all choked up a little bit. His dad's Rolex. They found the guy that had it. I don't know how they did that. I thought the Rumble build up was cool and all that. Everybody was getting hyped for that. Jay, he's sitting there in the back, and he's like, I'm effing losing my mind right now. Because he knew he was winning, so he was like super pumped up.
Yeah.
And like Cena walks up to him and tells him like, hey, it's supposed to be fun, because he could tell that he was like losing it. And I don't know, it's just cool seeing these guys in the back going through their thing. There wasn't like a lot of crazy big moments during this. It was just a whole lot of small things that they were showing with the interactions with Triple H. And was this where was it this episode where Punk was like crying and Triple H, or was that the last one?
I think that was in the last one.
Okay. Well, that was good either way. I'm mixing that up.
He was giving him the remember who you are and all that.
Yeah, but it was some pretty good stuff, man.
Oh no, there was a part where Punk wasn't necessarily crying, but when he was backstage after the Rumble and he was talking about he's pretty sure he tore his tricep.
But yeah, the whole Stephanie thing, like how they were showing her getting involved in this stuff, and she was sitting in Gorilla with Triple H, and this was the I Showed Speed stuff, right? So
yeah, he took a pretty nasty gash on his leg on that table spot. I didn't know about that.
Yeah, Triple H watched him go past. He was like, "It's the business, kid."
He had a look on his face. Yeah, and it's funny. Logan Paul's like, "Oh, that spot was legendary, man," and then he's looking at I Show's leg, and he's like, "Oh man, go get you a Prime. You'll be all right."
I think it's really cool that they sold this company, and like Vince has nothing to do with it. Shane has nothing to do with it. Linda has nothing to do with it. But Stephanie was there as a kid, and now she's like, even though they don't own it, she's still sitting there in the back by the person that's doing the show, still like involved. It's that's got to be something for her to like still be able to do that, even though they still don't own it. And you can imagine She was telling Vince like, "Oh, he's like, how was it?" She was like, "He kept your seat warm, Dad." Yeah, it was.
Do you think that Triple H ever envisioned that he would actually have this level of control? I mean, maybe they thought that at some point they would be the ones that own and ran it, as opposed to it being sold and him running the career. But still, I mean, do you ever think that he envisioned this level of where it is?
No, not at all. I'd like the Jay with the son stuff too. That was a little bit heartwarming. I like that.
Yeah. Humanizes them beyond just people that are out there to be your, superheroes for the people, essentially.
Absolutely. But I think that's about it on that, right?
Yeah, good episode. Enjoying the show. Still feel like some of the stuff that they're filming, they might go back and refilm. They're like, hey, yeah, we're doing this part, and this is what was happened, but we got to get some reshots or something.
They're already filming.
It still feels produced.
They're already doing. I had an ant on my desk. They're already doing season 2. They were filming Seth's leg deal, and so it's like it's going to be cool seeing that from the backstage point of view. That's going to be some really good stuff. I'm going to enjoy that. But I think that being said, we can go ahead and wrap up our episode 2 segment on Unreal here, and we're going to talk about what we got going down next, which will be a recording that we're going to do on Sunday, right? And we're going to be talking about SmackDown, Collision, the news, King of the Hill, episode 2. We need to do episode 1 and 2 because we haven't done King of the Hill yet at all.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. No, okay. Well, we'll do 1 and 2. We'll hit both of them.
Well, technically, there's 10 episodes, and Unreal's 5, so I think that'll make sense. That way, it's technically the similar length. You know what I mean? Hour long, and then the 2 episodes are about an hour long as compared to Unreal. So we'll do it that way. Check out the social medias. Like we added at the beginning. We appreciate anybody that's been commenting, liking the video, subscribing. We need to get you guys in our Discord to start chatting some stuff up, so we'll be trying to push that a little bit more. We're just going to try to be a community. That's I think really what me and Dave are worried about right now, or at least going to try to be pushing, because
try to grow it up.
The videos,
and if you're going to come around acting like a goof or a goose, either way, that ban button's real easy to hit. We're not going to put up with people coming around acting like weirdos. But
let's
for
not
people that are going to come around and be cool. What's up?
Let's not jump there before it happens. Hopefully everybody's cool.
Right, yeah.
But no, I mean, we have fun doing this. We're talking about wrestling because we enjoy it. Me and Dave are buddies. This is like, we were rating before, but we don't have that outlet to do stuff together anymore. And this is the outlet that we have. We spend time doing this. It's fun to us, and we like wrestling most of the time. But it's been fun. I've enjoyed this episode. I always enjoy doing it with you, Dave. I appreciate the hell out of you. We're the co-host of this here show that we here there on do, whatever that might mean. But I'm gonna go ahead and
is that a Mark Briscoeism?
It might be, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and hand it to you, and we'll sign off, and we'll hit that music.
Well, thanks as always for the fun episode, TJ. I always enjoy talking this stuff with you. And man, tomorrow's Friday. We're gonna be having the Weekend Dude. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But anyway, thanks for listening, Overmaniacs. We'll see you guys next time, and peace out.
Take it easy, guys.
DJ's yelling at a gift, Dave's eating crab. We skipped our bills to watch Raw live and ranked 800 wrestlers just to survive. Our muscles are fat.